Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, served at Lake Panasoffkee and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 34 years, we have strived to serve great food at good prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our wings and burgers are the best around. We have our daily specials too. We are open Wednesday through Saturday. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information.
All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today's special guest, he's a former South Central Raider football player and baseball player, and a good friend of mine. We'll get into the rest of his things that he does and will be doing. Without further ado, my special guest is Mr. Jeremy Cole. Jeremy, welcome to the show, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
They always pick the one that's got either the most inappropriate thing to talk about,
or the F-bomb.
It's a whole thing. And I'm like, guys, what part of that did you not understand? So, and Coach Santo's really good about it. He says, just play instrumental. And I'm like, okay. So they know when they walked that first game out that they had, they knew when they walked up, if it was instrumental, they're like, oh, it didn't pass.
I tried to get one in on him, but he caught it.
Yeah. I mean, he must have Googled the lyrics.
Yeah. What? I can't believe it said that.
That wasn't in the version I had. Yeah. Like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's funny.
Well, vintage Cowboys, you should go back. You talking about apparel, you should go back to like wearing you get the pearl snap shirt on, you know what I'm saying?
We got some old school stuff. It's Sammy, he's a character, man. So he actually owns he runs a Ceto business, from Yankeetown up to the Panhandle, and he's out in the sun all day. So he always wearing a hat, and he bought this this hat it's a cowboy hat, but I call him Junior Brown or something. It's just this funny looking, but he's like, man, I'm just bringing it back, But that's kind of all we are. We just we don't wear nothing crazy. We we dress like we play. We ain't got no neon green or nothing like that, but it's.
Well, I mean, it also you guys, like when I said you played at Pat Stapp's, it was really good, and you don't see a lot of 5-piece bands anymore.
No,
especially at Catfish Johnny's. I mean, it was a real treat to have like all you guys on there at the same time, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. It's just like, for me, it's hard to go see live music because the band's doing their thing, and then everybody's yelling.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's got to be frustrating for you because I've been on that stage, and they do that sometimes during like trivia and bingo. Yeah. I can't imagine you trying to play, and you're like, guys, we worked really hard.
Yeah. Well, we all run in-ears, for monitoring instead of putting floor wedges, so because it kind of kills it. You don't get a lot of bouncing off the stuff, so we're totally isolated. We run a click track, for us to keep time, but they can be as loud as they want. We don't ever know nothing, unless they start shooting birds, then we know, But but it's pretty cool, It's technology in that aspect's come a long way with music too, because Bobby, like I said, he's older, and he's like, he always say, I remember when, and and this, and he was in the Army, and he was stationed out in Kansas, and he'd play at places out there, and he's like, I remember it was just 3 of us up there, and an amp. He said used to have to take this guitar apart so I could get it on the plane. He'd take the strings off, so he could, kind of hide it or whatever, and I was like, I'm glad we ain't got to do that no more. We got, it's a little crazy, but it's it's a lot of fun. We got a good bunch of guys. We like everything. You have your stuff goes on every once in a while, but we're all there for the same reason, make sure people enjoy us, and they want to come back, and and like I say, we doing the fair, it's kind of pretty much like the biggest kind of thing we've done. We've done music festivals before, but but it's kind of cool. You know, we played at the Fall Fest and enjoyed that, and it's just trying to get bigger and bigger a little bit. You know, I don't know what'll happen after that, but we just like to be able to play and for people to enjoy it and like that. So
well, that's the biggest thing is it's just like this. I mean, I didn't expect to be on the Spotify's #1 after the first episode. It takes time. That's a goal. If that's what you want to do, and if all you want to do is play like small venues or whatever, then that's what you do. And that's how you get better. Too. There's an old Hank Williams Jr. song that says, "I played every dive bar from Memphis to Mobile."
Yeah,
and you start thinking about that, and you go, man, like to kind of go through the motions of going from one point of the country down. Like that's not even that's not a very big area. It is a big area, but it's not like he didn't go this way. Kind of like shorter version, but to play songs like that and go and pay your dues and you get better and everything. It's a cool thing. There's a story about the Beatles. Everybody thinks the Beatles are just like they just woke up one morning and then just started crapping out gold records. But it took a lot of time and effort to get all that down. And they said that they went someplace for a certain amount of time and they played like 7 days a week in this bar or a pub, wherever they are. They played in this pub for 7 days a week, and they came back, and people lost their minds because they were so in tune. They're like, that's what we just practiced like 7 days a week, and we became better at what we were doing. It was our craft.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's still the same way. So any big road show that comes out, Morgan Wall and stuff like that, they'll be in practice for 30 days straight every day. Just getting ready for repetition, going over the show, and that's how they, you get to be like that. They're all incredible musicians too, but it's just like you get on the train and you know your deal. I talked to the guys a couple of weeks ago because it's the fair's right around the corner, and I told them, I said, this could be some really good stuff for us. You never know who's going to be there. We played at a cattlemen's association banquet last night up in Madison, and we got a lot of people wanting cards, and man, will y'all come to Tallahassee? Will y'all do this? We got a rodeo coming up. We want y'all to play, and it's all coming kind of together. I tell them, and most Donnie and Bobby and Sammy, they've been around the block, and I told them, this could be a really good deal for us. We joined the Federation of Fairs, which is for all the state of Florida,
right?
And that's how they book a lot of their entertainment. They'll go on there, they'll get demos. We're going to their convention in May. To set a booth up, and hopefully we can get a gig out of the Strawberry Festival or whatever. Or something like that, I tell them, because most of us are a little bit older, so we're like, I don't know about what y'all think, but I'm really getting tired of lugging this equipment in and out of here. I'd rather be able to show up with my bass guitar, my amp, and go to work, and they all start laughing. They're like, yeah, that'd be great. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we want to do, just play some good stuff, keep it going,
You'll be there with I have a list right here. I want to make sure give everybody a shout out. So at 11 a.m. is let's see if I can zoom in. 615 Collective. 1 p.m. is Noah Hunting. Then you guys are at 3 p.m. with Vintage Cowboys.
Yeah.
And let's see, Jess Kelly Adams. I met her before. She was the opener for Shenandoah last year. She's really good.
Yeah.
She's at 5 p.m. And then Coffee Anderson is at 7 p.m. And so these are all. I'm really excited to see that all the rest of the guys. But I know I've seen you guys and I've seen Jess play, and both of you guys, all of you. Do a really great job, and I think you're going to give them a good show. I think they'll enjoy it. And so I was going to say my next question would be like, when you're up there and you have a somewhat decent sized crowd, I don't know how big a crowd you've actually played for, like the biggest one, but when you get there, have you ever had a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, like it's like you almost feel like an imposter?
Yeah.
Like imposter syndrome. You're like, am I really supposed to be here right now?
It always happens. It's like everything. You're like, oh man, am I going to remember that part in the song I'm supposed to do, or the words to a song I got to sing? And you're like, oh gosh, it happens. Especially we played at the Horseshoe Music Fest last year, and there was quite a few people, and I was like, oh man, did I got everything? Is everybody good? Because I try to make sure everybody's got their stuff. It's nothing big, but just make sure we don't hit no road bumps. And then I can look up there and I'm like, holy crap. This is, when are we starting? And then it's, all the time, man. It's like, God, I hope I don't mess this song up, or, and it happens all the time. It's not like everybody's perfect, but even they have, the biggest shows have it. But you're like, man, I hope I can get through this.
Do you ever feel like? Well, like I was gonna say, when you're up there and you got 4 of the guys that are playing with you, it's kind of like, okay, the pressure's kind of off. But if it was a solo show, I think the pressure would be 10 times worse.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. Like I don't do a lot of like big crowd stuff, but I do a lot of public speaking with what I do, and I don't get nervous per se, but in my mind, I'm saying the same thing. Like, please don't mess this up. Don't mess it up. And if you do, guess what? They don't even know.
Yeah, and that's what's so crazy. Like Bobby's the steel player. I've learned a ton about music from him.
Yeah.
Him playing with Mel Tillis and people like that. That you kind of you don't really think about it. When you're learning and playing music or whatever, but he can hear, I swear, like if something's one megatone off, or any kind of tone off, he's like, I don't think that was right, what I mean? And it's like, oh man, but it's crazy. It's unbelievable how much better it makes you, stuff like that.
Well, it's also like you want somebody to be with you, because it not only does it make you a better person, but or better at your craft, but it's also like I said, like a reality check. Like you think you're doing all right, and you go, no, I think it sounds really good, and then that's why feedback's always great. You always want feedback, and like with this show, I'm like, there's no wrong or right way to do things. It's just you just do it. And I love input from anybody. Like, hey, I like it. My dad told me one time, you need to let the guests talk more.
Well, I just say, listen, I got to keep it going.
That's what I said. I was like, I get what he's saying. Like, it should be, if anything, half 50-50. It should be half.
Yeah.
But sometimes starting off, I get, a lot of people it doesn't matter if they've done great things, they may not want to speak right away.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to warm up.
Yeah.
But once you get them warmed up, it's like a little, like, you've been around little kids, some kid that's shy, and then they warm up to you, and then they won't leave you alone.
Like, hey, I'm like, okay, I'm done with you.
You're like, I don't know why I even talked to that child. Now they won't leave me alone.
Yeah. It's pretty neat though. We, like I said, we got a good group of guys. We all, the biggest thing is, I find with music is that, like you said, a lot of people, if you mess up, don't really know. You know what I mean?
No, that's a very big key.
But the thing about musicians is it always holds you to a higher standard, because you're like, well, they don't know, but I know.
Yeah.
And I keep replaying it back in my head. If I hit a sharp chord or something on the bass, and I'm like, oh, and I see Bobby, he'll look at me, and it's pretty funny, because I mess with him a little bit. So we'll be doing a song at practice or something, and he'll do a slide, boom, and he'll look at me, and I'll be like, So it's just something. I'll yell at Sammy and say, Sammy, watch this, and then I'll do something crazy, and he'll be like, you don't need to be doing that. That ain't what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you.
Well, that's better than that. There's a guy that I see periodically on, it's either TikTok or Instagram, and he'll mess with the band. He tries to get them to crack up, and they'll be really intense on it, and it's kind of like hard rock a little bit. But he'll play like Puddle of Mud, and then all of a sudden instead of like a real sharp like cymbal, it'll be like donk or like something, and the bass player's like.
Yeah,
but they mess with them all the time, and it's like how to get fired from your gig or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. You can do songs 100 times, and you'll get to one point when it's the same song you've done 100 times, and you'll screw up the lyric, or you'll say cat and dog, or instead of, you know what I mean? It's just like, how many times did I got to do this so I don't mess it up? You know, it's pretty neat. It's you definitely, it's with a group like with us, it's definitely. I met the guy that plays in the Great Divide. Okay. They're a big Texas band. He's a vocalist, and I think his name's Scott. But they played huge shows, man. They played at the Opry last year. They played some stuff like that, and I said, how do you y'all keep like y'all are? He said, man, we've been playing for 30 years. Yeah. He said, we know everybody in our group. I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. The drummer knows. He said, that's how you get to be like that. That's, and that's, we're getting better. We've been together almost 2 years now. And, we got some original stuff we're going to be coming out with here in a little bit, trying to get it going so we can get some bigger stuff. But we're still, we've got the fundamentals down. We're just trying to get to where we're the next level, above, and it's, it's just like a singer, man. Sometimes you'll go out there and everything's going good. Next thing you know, next time you're like, man, what is going on? I don't know. Did I drink something bad? Or, it's just like your body changes all the time. So that's you definitely can't be afraid of messing up, but you just got to try to make sure it doesn't happen too many times. So.
Have you ever played in a place like the Double Deuce?
No,
with the chicken wire?
So, no, not that bad. So we played. I played at a place called the Keg Room in Brantford, and it's not really rough or nothing, but it kind of reminds you of something like that. Yeah. There wasn't really no brawls, which we played we try to stay out of honky tonk stuff. A lot of bars. We played a lot of restaurants in Steinhatchee. We played Horseshoe Music Fest. We played banquets and stuff like that. We try to kind of stay clear of that, and because the type of music we play, we even try to make it crowd friendly where we don't have to worry about some mom with her kid, doing singing a song that really So we try to. Nothing's wrong with that, like I said, but we try to. We're all old 90s country stuff, so we try to make sure that we keep it clean and all that stuff.
Have you tried to ever do a song that wasn't country but try to make it country, like do your own like little riff or like a cover?
Well, so we do attempt sometime. We just I chalk it up to some of the group don't we're probably not going to do any Jason Aldean songs or something like that. Gotcha. But, we're straight old stuff. We gotcha. Try to stay there just to make everybody happy. It's because we've tried a couple that were like, and they didn't sound bad. They were actually good, but I was like, that's probably the last time we'll ever play that song. Because we're going to hear about it, but it's cool, man. It's I like you said before, you're bringing everybody back. That's stuff we grew up on. And it's kind of neat to see the younger kids and all doing the same thing. It's, what's so cool about it now, even the big air acts, like Zach Top, he'll do a cover for somebody that he used to love to play, listen to.
Yeah.
And that's actually cool, man, because you kind of, like Shenandoah and people like that, really you wouldn't ever. I know people still go watch them and listen, but
Right.
you never would. It's doesn't get any awareness about them. They, Zach Top playing a song, a Diamond Rio song or something like that, and they're like, "Man, who's that?" Somebody that never knows,
Right.
and they're like,
Right.
"Holy crap, we got to go listen to them," and it kind of helps them, get back in the light a little bit. It's just it's cool, like we said, everything like a full circle, but it's really, I mean, it's going. I think it's going in the right direction anyway.
My wife is a big Keith Whitley fan.
Oh yeah,
She loves Keith Whitley, and I found, I don't know how, I guess because maybe the songs I play sometimes, but I got this. You know how Big Brother's listening all the time, so I got this video on Facebook. It was a old concert of his back in probably 1986 or 87, and it was video. You could see he probably had the over shoulder hand camcorder, but it was probably on a tripod because it was steady. It was good,
Yeah.
but it was probably about 50 feet from the stage.
Yeah.
But Keith comes out and the first song he does is a Gary Stewart song. Was it Flat Bottom Boy Man? Well, I forgot the name of the song, but I'm like, I thought it was his.
Yeah.
And you don't realize like how far people have been doing covers, and it's like oh my gosh, I wasn't even like I couldn't even find it on if you type in that, and I gotta get the name of the song, but I should have wrote that down. But anyways, I know it's a Gary Stewart song.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with us, man. We play older stuff, and we'll be talking about a song, and like Tom T. Hall's like a dude. I mean, he's an old guy. I think he had one song that was pretty,
Yeah.
that was pretty good or whatever. Maybe anybody heard of, but he had others like a song called "Faster Horses" that I'd never heard of. I was riding back from Madison with Sammy the other day, and he said, "Man, you got to hear this song." And it's a good old honky tonk song. Talks about fast horses and younger women, old whiskey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I've never ever heard of that guy.
Yeah.
And then, we just like that, you start doing cover songs like that, and these guys are like, man, who is that? You get, it just makes it where you're kind of spreading the love. You know what I mean? It's pretty neat. It's we don't do a whole lot of Shenandoah, but it's just cool to hear other people do his songs and all that. It's their, like you said, their version of it is. A lot of times, some people think it's better. It's just, but it's pretty neat just to give them props a little bit. Though.
Well, it's funny also how people have turned stuff down. Like I was trying to think of the song. Somebody was supposed to do this song, and Alan Jackson ended up doing it, or vice versa. And it's like, what would the song have been? Would it have been as popular if that person had done it?
Right. Yeah.
I can't remember what song it was, but that happens all the time. How people, or like you said, like they make it a little bit better. Like John Johnson's gonna kill me, but the song "Cover Me Up" by Morgan Wallen, I love that version.
Right.
I like it. I think it's really well done. And I know he doesn't really care for Morgan Wallen, and I like that he's like old school, and like that he's like old school or die.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, that Morgan Wallen song just sounds so good, and that was the first time I ever heard it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the cover, because you're like, oh, I love that song by Morgan Wallen. Like, that's not even who wrote it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to. It's not like you're trying to be disrespectful or anything. You're just like, that's the first time I ever heard it. That's who was singing it.
Yeah.
When I heard it.
It's weird because you get, even as musicians, you get, the first thing you come to is the version that they've actually played. You know what I mean? And you get that in your head, and and you're like, man, I don't really know. You always revert back to them because it was their song and stuff, and if other people do covers of it, and you're like, man, you just can't get that. I don't really like it because Morgan Wallen done it or something. You know what I mean, like that.
Right.
So
right.
It's pretty cool. And I've been reading up. I've been writing a couple songs and stuff like that. I haven't got anything released, but what's crazy is even up in Nashville, there will be songs that's sitting up in somebody's house on a tablet or something, or at a publishing company that'll be sitting there for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And, you never hear of them. And like I never lie. I'm sure Zach wrote it, but he might have been sitting that thing at his house on his dresser for 5 years.
It's really about the timing, because you want to make it. That's why I think, and this is my own personal opinion, but like if you take a superstar like just say Morgan Wallen or Lainey Wilson, I feel like they're pushing the songs out. Remember when we were young and you'd hear one song? I think it's because they were doing the radio play, but Garth Brooks songs seemed like they were so more spread out. And I know he's got a lot of hits,
right,
but you're talking about over a period of time, the last 35 years or whatever, how long, 30 years or whatever. But you don't, it's like they kind of try to push them out too fast. And that's why if you notice normally back in the day when they'd have like an album, they'd have one hit on there and the rest are like whatever, the fillers or whatever. And that they had like look at like Hank Williams Jr. I was looking through his because I made a Hank Williams Jr. playlist.
Right.
But I had to go back, and if it wasn't the greatest hits, I'd have to go through several albums to cherry pick because I'm like, okay, I know that song, I like that song, but then I'm like, there'd be 2 on this album, and then like you have to buy like 15 albums.
Yeah, $10 a piece to play 2 songs. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was no different from when we were growing up. You bought a $20 CD for one song, and then when Napster came out or LimeWire, I didn't feel so bad because I'm like. Download that thing,
right,
brother. I paid my dues.
Here's my $2. That's all you're getting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's $1 a song.
Yeah. And and a lot of artists now are even, like I think the couple that maybe the 2 before this, Jason Aldean, he was releasing basically 2 albums at one time with 16 songs on it. And I mean, that was kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? That's a lot. And he's got a bunch of good music, but it's like, man, it's like you wait. I guess it kind of plays the fans a little bit because they're like, man, when's he going to come out with another album or whatever? And then bam, you get hammered with 2 and they're like, oh, this is great. It's, and like you said, it's all about timing too. It's crazy because what, I've talked to a couple of guys, a guy named Jess McIntyre. He's a songwriter in Nashville. He used to write for Ray Stevens and Loretta Lynn.
Cool.
And he said, man, it's crazy. He said, you can go pitch a song to somebody. You're in charge of writing songs for Ray Stevens or whoever, and you bust your tail. You feel like you're trying to write, because that's how you get paid. Right. And then he said you may take it to him, and then we're like, I don't like it. And you're like, it took me 2 months to write this song.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to, but he said it's neat. He said, he told me, as far as songwriting, he said Loretta Lynn was unbelievable. He said they could be at a songwriting, time or whatever, and she'd go to the bathroom and come back, and she'd be like, what do you think about this? And she'd just spit out something like that, and he'd be like, what? Are you kidding? And it'd be her next song. He said it was the coolest thing you ever seen, But you got to be really gifted. It's pretty cool to do stuff like that.
Kind of like Dolly Parton, how she's written so many songs that we'll probably never even hear.
Right.
And she's probably like, I don't think this is good enough, but people probably, go crazy for it. But it's just because it was her. but she's written so many different songs that you're just like, oh my gosh. Or wrote songs for other people and didn't get credit. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows about it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like Chris Stapleton, man. Before he was what he is now, he was, a crazy songwriter.
Yeah.
And there ain't, and a lot of times when it comes to that, you might have one word or 3 lines in the song and you get credit for it, but you never, it might be the best part of the song that you would have never known. And they're like, well, who wrote that part? Oh, that was Chris Stapleton. I'm like, dang.
Yeah. Did you know that David Allan Coe was a ventriloquist?
I did not.
Did you know that?
That is crazy.
I do not have that written down. I just remember that he was a ventriloquist. He had a dummy. They said it was the scariest looking thing they've ever seen. But he was a ventriloquist.
That is crazy. Had you ever seen him in concert before?
No, I'd never seen him in concert. Yeah.
When I was up at Southwestern in Georgia, they had this thing it's called the Barnyard or whatever, and they used to have a big concert that all the colleges from everywhere would come to at the fairgrounds. And he was up there, man, and it was no offense, I don't know bad name, but it was something to be seen, dude. He was pretty blitzed, and it was. I was like, dude, it was like I said, I don't mean to offend anybody about it, but it was just like I've seen the Kentucky Headhunters and stuff like that. They're cool, and it was just you don't put the voice and the person with the face, and it always is.
Exactly. Yeah, he would come out on stage and do a ventriloquist act. It was.
That is crazy. Yeah. That's probably what got him started in the music or something, maybe.
And I don't know if that's how he started, or he just did. You know what? I'm kind of bored. I'll just take a ventriloquism.
Yeah, just add to the show.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm sure, like, instead of doing like a cover. He's like, hey, tonight I'll just bring out Jerry or whatever.
Who's Jerry? Where's Jerry? Oh, he's in the box over there.
But that's crazy how you kind of find out little things about other people, and that. Yeah, I would have never known that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's ain't no telling what kind of hidden accent people that are famous got anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But I thought that was funny, and I was, you just never know. And when people kind of, I could just imagine being at that show and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm gonna take a little break." And I'm going to do something I never thought I'd be doing.
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah. The very first time you or I'm sure, and from the kind of like the video I saw, or pictures, it looked like it was some time ago. So word didn't travel as fast as it does now. So there was no TikTok or Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. They didn't know, oh my gosh, you pulled out this dummy last night and did a show right in front of us.
Yeah, they weren't able to warn the next people that were going to see it.
Can you imagine somebody going, hey, you going to see David Allan Coe? Watch out for that dummy. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you. Hey, trust me. I'm telling you.
He's a great singer, though.
He's a great singer-songwriter, but he's also a ventriloquist.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing wear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with them. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store.
Why make two stops when you could shop at two amazing stores under one roof? Visit Lollipops on Main Boutique and the Stitching Heifers in the heart of downtown Bushnell for all your clothing, accessories, and custom gear. At Lollipops on Main Boutique, you can find stylish women's and men's apparel, novelty items, and the perfect gift ideas.
The Stitching Heifers is your one-stop shop for embroidered and printed hats, custom patch hats, and trending graphic tees that can be fully customized for you, your company, or your next big event. Whether you need a single design or a whole company's worth of branded gear, they've got you covered. Come see us at 110 Bushnell Plaza in Bushnell. Shop in-store or browse online anytime at mponmaine.com and thestitchingheifers.com. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck, the delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck.
Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Panasoffke's only craft beer tap room, offering 12 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beer, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and pub food. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app.
Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. CY Western Company is located in Bushnell, Florida. It's a great place for boots, clothing, gifts, and accessories for the whole family. They are a family-owned and operated business that opened in 2008. They offer free gift bagging and layaway services, and also a 10% discount for 4-H and FFA members with proof of membership. Be sure to like them on Facebook, where customers can stay updated on sales and giveaways. You can find them next to Lowry's True Value Hardware in Bushnell, open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 to 5. Be sure to check out CY Western Company. Have you got to meet anybody cool, like as a musician, or who do you look up to?
I like a lot of Mark Will's stuff. I've met so there's a guy, Jason Bird. He's from the Tallahassee area. He was around the '90s era or whatever. And he actually used to partner up. He'd be partnered up with George Jones.
Okay.
And he'd played a couple of times in Steinhatchee. And this dude has got a great voice. I mean, he's unbelievable. And there's actually, I don't know how it got, but he played on the Opry one time back in the day. And he's, I'm probably wrong, but he's in his late 50s maybe. He's still going at it. And it was, pretty cool just to meet somebody like that, that is, he's done it, been to Nashville. He's, I've asked him, talk to him, and why don't you still live up there? And he goes, well, I can live in my own house and just whenever I want to go up there. Now it ain't like you have to spend all your time up there trying to cut your teeth or whatever.
Right.
So, but yeah, him, like I said, Jess McIntyre, he was actually a guy that opened up for, I think Conway Twitty,
Gotcha.
Back in the day. He's a songwriter. It's pretty neat,
That's cool.
But just hearing the stories of some of the people, it's like crazy,
You're talking about George Jones. There's this, I don't, and Jeremy, I have no idea how these things find me, but I always get these random videos, and I saw a video of they're talking about George Jones, and he lived a like bizarre life.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had a bunch of things that like normal people don't go through, and a lot of it was self-induced. Like he self-inflicted. He did it by himself. But like one time he got so intoxicated that he just like walked off from when they were at the hotel, and then the band manager or one of the band members like, where's George at? They couldn't find him. Kind of like a pure country deal, They're waiting at the bus like, where's George at?
He's going walkabout.
He finally jumped off the stage there, and so he got out. He left, and this lady ended up calling him because she goes out there. She looks out her window, and George Jones is mowing her grass.
Hey, can you imagine that?
She said, "Oh my God, George Jones is mowing my grass in shorts and knee-high socks." And
oh, can you imagine? Probably drinking a beer, maybe.
He probably was still lit from the night before. He would get blitzed and just like that's why they took his driver's license.
Yeah.
That's why he got pulled over in the John Deere one time.
Yeah. It's so crazy is, man, is like back in the day like that. You'd see videos of like Waylon Jennings or Merle Haggard and stuff.
Yeah.
I seen a video Bobby shared to us one time. It's like he don't think he's anybody. He gets out, there's fans sitting there, they're all just hanging around, and he walks up to them, "How y'all doing?" And like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, holy crap! Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like no. I know it happens every once in a while, but meeting like somebody that the greatest artist ever coming up and here walking through the door over there, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And you're like, "What the crap? Is that who I think it is?"
Yeah.
But it was so cool back in the day, like how, it was. Not saying that it ain't about the music and the fans now, but they were just down to earth and crazy,
Well, that's like I saw another video where the guy I don't know if he was a headliner, but it was like one of those like where they had like 3 or 4 people there at this concert. I guess that's a normal concert, but it wasn't like you have your opener or whatever. It was like 3 major names, and this guy was like I think he might have been the middle guy, but he goes out into he dressed normal. And he went out and he sat with people. And he was like, "So who you here to see?" And they said his name. And he's like, "Oh, I heard he sucks."
Yeah.
But he was just, and they're like, "You look a lot like him." He is. And I get that all the time, whatever. But it was so funny to see, like, that's something I would do. If I was in that predicament, I would walk out.
Yeah.
And they're expecting, like, there's no way he's out here with us right now. Like, the last thing you would think of. But it was so cool to see him sitting with the fans, and he's like, "Yeah, the other guy's pretty good with it. Who'd you say you were coming here to see?" and they're like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." And he goes, "Yeah, that guy sucks."
Yeah,
Mark
Wills had a thing too. It was the same situation. I think it was. I don't know if he wasn't playing. Maybe he was out in town somewhere, and this lady, I think he might have been at the grocery store or something like that. But this lady walks up to him and she goes, "Did you know you look a lot like Mark Wills?" And he said, "Well, probably, maybe because I am." She said, "No, there's no way you're Mark Wills. What are you doing?" And he said something about he even sang like a little lyric. And she goes, "That's pretty close, but I don't think it is." And he's like, it was the craziest thing trying to convince this lady that I was really him, And that's just like that, It's pretty crazy. We went and not before last. We went to the Filler Crab Festival up there. They got a big stage and they have a couple tribute bands. And like last night, I think they had Guns N' Roses, and then they had the Luke Bryan tribute band the night before. And it's crazy. I mean, they get paid to go dress just like him,
emulate him.
It's crazy how and they get paid quite a bit of money to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when last year's fair, when Shenandoah was there, I was the runner, And so I met the tour manager was Greg Withrow. He's a good guy. He's been on the show, and really nice guy, really down to earth, really cool guy. Shout out to Greg. He's one of your like if you wanted to meet a tour manager and that didn't think highly like thought himself higher than you. This is the guy. So he tells me, he's like, dude, I thought you were the promoter. He's like, you were so outgoing and everything. So we hit it off right away.
Yeah.
So of course I had to take him to and from the hotel and everything. And anyways, when they pulled in, I'm there when they get there, and the bus is backing up, and it's Marty Raybon. He's driving the bus, and I'm like, good God, like he's got to drive his own bus, you know, like, but he apparently he loves doing it, and he's done it for years, and like in the space, Jeremy, when he had to come in, I'm like, there's no way I'd be like backing up, fitted in there perfect, gave him enough room, was perfect, like he's done it a million times, like he's been there a million times. But got to meet them, the whole band. They were super cool, and those are the people that you want to see and you want to meet. You don't want to meet the guy or the person they say never meet your heroes, right? Because then you might be disappointed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we go. This is the second year I've done it. Me and Bobby will go down and play with a guy named Jody Beggs and another guy down in Kissimmee at the Florida Coach. They have a big party every year, and Florida Coach is actually the company that gets a lot of contracts to drive. Like I met the bus driver for Bob Dylan. Mm-hmm. You know, they design buses they're doing one for Jelly Roll. They're building his bus. They're doing walked inside Willie Nelson's bus. You know, cool. They got to do upkeep on them. And what was so crazy is a guy named Jody's Wadsworth that I go down there and play with him, and we entertain him. But he's an unbelievable guitarist. Even Jody Beggs is too. But what is so crazy about it is most of the people, like the bus drivers, are just as good of musicians as the guys that play on the stage with them.
Yep.
I mean, and that's, you hear a lot of stories. I don't know if it's Scotty McQuarrie or somebody, but they're actually selling T-shirts for somebody else, and then ended up getting a record deal a couple of years later. And they're like, well, how'd you get here? Oh, well, I used to sell shirts for Tim McGraw.
Yeah, I was at the merch tent.
Yeah. It's crazy, but just like you said though, it's so cool. Just being around people like that, because Jody drives. I think he drives a bus for Bob Dylan, and I'm like, well, what's that like? He said, oh man, it's cool. He said, it's just like me and you talking. You don't, and it's just it's a kind of shocking, you know what I mean? Because you always hear a lot of horror stories about stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun last year, and I love all the production. I love production value. I like being in the process, setting up. I was working the next night. They had Priscilla Block, and she put on a great show too. But I was out front, and and then when it was all said and done, I went and helped broke the stage down, and I was like, front person to roadie in a matter of seconds, right? And I'll never forget they had this. I guess her thing is she's got a big. If you go to any Priscilla Block concert, there's this huge Jack Daniel's barrel on there, and she's got a Jack Daniel's cup. So it's up on the stage every time that they play, and I said, where do you need this barrel to go? And they said, oh, we got to put it back on the trailer, but usually we put it in last. And I go, okay, but we got to do it off the stage first. They're like, correct. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of flipped it on its side and rolled it. And they were like, wow. Like I'm like, guys, that's how they get it out of the distillery. They roll them down a ramp, They I don't know if they just really didn't think about it. They're like, oh, that works, Get it back to the side. And it's like 25 feet to the trailer. I just pick up the barrel. And they go, whoa!
Fire.
They go, oh my gosh, dude. I'm like, I got it in my hands. I'm like, what? Like, they're like, we've never seen anybody do that before. I'm like, it's a barrel.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do with it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny
Cool.
how like if you've been doing something so long that you kind of.
Yeah.
You know, especially something like that, there's only one way to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get so tunnel vision, it's kind of crazy, you know.
Yeah, it blew their mind. They were like, oh, that, like, I go, what? And they go, we've never seen anybody do that before. I'm like, what? Pick up a barrel?
Yeah.
I'm like, how'd you get it in there?
Yeah. That's so funny. Oh, man.
Who's somebody that you've always, like, if you could see anybody dead or alive, like concert wise, like musician, who would you want to see? Like I mean, I've got a few that have, they were older guys and they've been gone before I was born. Yeah. I would love to see in concert. Who's somebody like that? It'd
probably be Keith Whitley.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because I remember when we were when Dad was in the gospel group, we all had to go. We all went up to got on the Greyhound, the rep's bus, and drove up to Nashville for the gospel convention. And that was I've actually been twice since then, but that was so little when I was real little when we went. I didn't even really remember nothing, and I remember going downtown Nashville, on Broadway, in that big old bus, and I remember hearing Keith Whitley playing and Lori Morgan. And I was like, man, this is so cool, And, we never went on Broadway or nothing. We went to the convention and they played, but it was just like, that'd be somebody really cool, And it's crazy what happened to him. But even now, man, it's, like we talked about before, just coming back, people, doing his covers. And it's crazy how many people that, don't have any idea of who he was, but they're like, man, dude, that's some good stuff, good songs, it's life, it's pretty cool.
It seemed like that was personal with him, like all that stuff that he wrote about, if he did write it, seemed like it was very, very personal, like you literally feel like you were there with him when he wrote it.
Oh yeah. It's and it was, like you said, some of it was deep. Some of it was, just, some honky tonk stuff. But, and he was a real, it's cool seeing some of those old videos because it reminds you of Zach Top too, back when he used to play with Ralph Stanley, Keith Whitley did. Mm-hmm. And you'd see him, I think Ricky Skaggs was on the video with him, and they're all up there and there was nobody. You know who Ralph Stanley was, and then you see how they kind of go on and become something. The same thing with Zach. He started playing bluegrass in them old videos when he was younger. Now it's pretty cool. I've always thought bluegrass was really cool. You know what I mean? Because it takes it's definitely a natural all sound. There's nothing, you don't add anything. You everything's playing is because of you. You can't gain any pads or anything like that. It's just, and I tried to pick up play the banjo when I was younger, and I just like, man, I don't have the patience for this. Yeah. I was younger, but like you got to, even playing a banjo is unbelievably hard just for hand-eye coordination and all that stuff. So,
well, I think that like bluegrass is kind of our tribal thing, like because where it started and what it was about. And, you got to think about, this is the time before, bluegrass always reminded me of the day back in the day when there was no electricity.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why you don't see a drummer. I mean, I know that doesn't involve electricity, but there's no drums, there's no percussion, there's a couple things that might substitute that. But like, there's no amps. Yeah, I mean, they don't ever. I mean, now they might just to make the sound, magnify a little bit. But I don't think it's. I think it's one of those things. It's more of a historical thing.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA. Like our young, like and it's definitely a part of the United States.
Right.
But I think it had to come from another country that we've all, when we got here, and we just kind of, we moved over and adapted to something else and kind of mixed this with that and kind of two cultures combined and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's. And I like I said, I'm not a big history buff, but I think it was something like in the hills of Kentucky when moonshiners and stuff, they'd probably be bored sitting there, waiting on the shine to start coming out, and somebody have a guitar or something. They just, that's just the coolest thing,
Isn't it funny how one thing, like you just mentioned, just take one topic and you say moonshine. How many things come from just moonshine? And I'm not talking about like the bad things. I'm talking about the good things that changed our
civilization.
Civilization. So you had like a form of music, like you said. You have like NASCAR.
Yeah.
And it all comes from just someone trying to make money when alcohol was illegal.
Yeah.
Because you didn't make moonshine until the Prohibition times.
Right,
and when you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you know what? We'll show you. We'll make our own stuff.
That's right.
We'll make our own batch and show you. And then we won't let you know where it is.
Yeah.
You got to hide the steel,
Yeah, that's that movie Lawless, I
love that
dude,
movie.
That is it's crazy.
Movie.
And if it was anything like that would just, it'd be cool. But yeah, just like you said, how stuff, over time, turns into NASCAR or, it's pretty wild when you think about it. Just like, running moonshine, trying to get away from the cops, and then they start, it turns into a big race, and they got, now they got NASCAR, and it all started the same thing.
Pop culture, Dukes of Hazzard, like it's a whole, and you don't really think about like what it entitles, but just one topic there's a downspout or trickles of different things, and like we said, and it can, and then something would come off that or that, and it's just like a root system. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. It evolves into something big, NASCAR and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. They have a lot of there's a lot of history in that, and that I don't know if you've ever seen. There's a documentary. It's out there, and when I say it's out there, it's out there. It's crazy, but it was on Amazon at one time. It's called "The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia," and I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, I haven't.
It is crazy, and basically, it's directed by Johnny Knoxville, and it takes place in Boone County in West Virginia, and it is pretty much the opium crisis. Like it takes a family that now the guy who's in, like, the main guy is he was a famous like back in the day he was a dancer, like
right.
Like back in the early 30s or 40s he was a dancer, like a what do they call that Appalachian dancer,
right? Yeah.
Right. And so he's like friends with Hank Williams Jr. the third, or the second, whatever, Hank Williams Jr.'s kid, and his name is Jace. I think it's Jace something. But anyways, they go to his family. It might be his grandson or whatever. It's this particular family though, and it reminds you a lot of like the Hatfields and McCoys kind of like it's Appalachian. And it just, these poor people, they have just, it's just crazy. Like the stuff. I don't highly recommend you watch it with kids.
Yeah.
But it will definitely open your eyes up. Like their grandmother passes away, right? And they knew she was going to pass away. They got to dig her grave, bro. In West Virginia, they got pickaxes. Because nobody would help them out. They're like the outcasts of this county.
Yeah.
And like even the sheriff says, like, he's like, part of the documentary, he goes, "Why are you guys here?" He goes, "We got a kid that went to MIT last year. Why aren't you following him? Like, why are you following these guys?" Like, it's just poor family.
Right, yeah.
But it just shows you the opium crisis, like how pills have ruined, like, the country and stuff. It's crazy. It's so out there. You go, this has got to be fake. Like, and you see Johnny Knoxville's name on it, you're like, okay, it's got to be. This is staged.
Yeah.
These people aren't real, but they are real.
Yeah.
People.
And it's crazy. You know, when we were younger, man, you wouldn't. I mean, you might see a little bit of pot or something every once in a while, but you like hard stuff. You're like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what that looks like, or I wouldn't even know if it was sitting in front of me. But it's stuff, man. It's kind of it's changed. It like comes back, and then back in the 70s or whatever, and us being in a small town, we're like, we're not even, nothing like that has ever came around us, so we have no idea what to do or how you're supposed to deal with it. But,
well, that's the thing is like where we grew up in a small town. The biggest thing we ever faced was trying to get somebody to buy beer for us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And we thought that was like literally we were like bootleggers. Like somebody's going to come after us. Yeah. But that's just the way it was. But there, like you said, there was no hard stuff.
So, it was because it's stuff like that. It can change the whole. It's just they got this thing. Steinhatchee, where we live now, is kind of known. They called them the Steinhatchee 7. So they used to run, and I'm not 100% sure. They've got documentaries around it. But they used to drop cocaine from Colombia. And there's this road that goes out on the Dixie County side. It's called the Road to Nowhere. Mm-hmm. And it's probably 10 miles long. Nothing, just woods, and the road was paved for some reason. Yeah. So they used to land planes out there, and do drops, and wow. It was, and it's they call it the Steinhatchee 7. It was pretty cool. It's even there's a guy. This is kind of he's a great singer. I'm trying to think of his name. I lost it. But he actually wrote a song about it, and there's been a bunch of documentaries about it, and it's just cool. I know one of the guys he was the sheriff's deputy back then, and he actually was a Taylor County deputy, and he'd be running roadblocks on the Dixie County side while they were flying in, and stop traffic and all that while they were doing their deal, and then they'd slide out. But it ended up, it was pretty kind of, it's not cool in a good way, but like just that happened like that right there, and you would never know it,
Right. Well, that's just like the documentary about Cocaine Cowboys. You ever watch that?
Yeah, I've seen parts of it.
That is crazy, man. Yeah. It is absolutely like how they got in front of a grand jury, and they're like, no, they're free to go, and they're like, okay, somebody was on the payroll. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, really? They had all this evidence against them, and they were let go. I mean, who does that?
And it all boils down to probably money. You know what I mean?
It's no doubt they paid everybody off. I mean,
it's like, well, you just killed somebody, but you get to walk out free. How does that work?
No. That's not something that normally happens in those bigger cities like that. I'm sure it happens. Stuff like that happens all the time. But this is in the. This is like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And it was like, man, if you think. And I'm sure it happens in small towns too, but the big towns, they got the bigger things going on. Like in Miami, you're closer to Columbia, and they're wanting to run down there all the time. And it's just, I'm waiting for them to make. I know they made the documentary, but I want them to make a movie about it. It would be really good.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's in a couple of documentaries, and they actually have one show that mentions it a lot. But it's just, and I mean, and can you only imagine how many other places that, like that movie American Made with Tom Cruise, that was actually based on real stories, the same thing. They were dropping, and you would never even know. Some little small town, everybody's driving Rolls Royces and stuff.
And that's the thing is, and when I was saying that they should make a movie about it, I actually thought about that. I was like, did they make a movie about it? Was that considered that? But that wasn't the same. It was like it, but it wasn't the same principle because, like you said, they were in the middle of nowhere. They weren't in Miami running things. But that's there's a lot of things like that go on. And I mean, have you ever seen Tulsa King?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've never
It's like, yeah, I've been through Tulsa, but I've never stayed. But I'm like, that could really happen. Like somebody could go out there and just start raising this empire. And I mean, it's Taylor Sheridan. He's kind of put his little twist on it.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I'm hooked. I try not to. I'll binge watch it, and then I'm like, man, I gotta stop because I gotta slow down a little bit because the next season's coming out, and I don't want to be waiting on it like so much. So I started rewatching like Landman and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But those are all good. But yeah, it's funny how. I don't know. It's crazy how some things you just go that would never happen, and it does.
Oh yeah.
So going back to your singing and stuff, are you do you have any big plans for besides the fair? We got anything going on this year in 2026?
So we've got the Horseshoe Music Fest the weekend after that, and we got a couple playing at a benefit in Steinhatchee the end of March, and then we normally get booked out for 4th of July and stuff like that. Hopefully what we can do with the convention for the Florida Federation of Fairs is get maybe some the Lake City fairs and stuff like that, the Strawberry Festival. I mean, because you can basically, if you get on their system, you can go play. They can hire you to play anywhere. And we're hopefully get in. There's a company out of Lake City called First Street. Mm-hmm. They do all the bookings for the Tallahassee Fair, stuff like that up there. So we get in with them and send a demo in. We'll be good. That's so we can do basically whatever we want. So.
What is something that you look for, like a goal that you want to do? Like one day I want to play this, or I want to play here one day.
I'd like to start out with the Strawberry Festival, maybe being an opener for one of them big guys. I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, anybody would love to play Grand Ole Opry or something like that, and I don't. I'm not saying it can't happen, but
right.
But it just, guess I'm trying to stay in my lane a little bit.
What can the fans, when they come out to your shows, what is something that you like? If you want to tell them something like what kind of an experience do you think they're going to have? Like, what is expected?
Well, I hope that they obviously enjoy us, and maybe it brings back some old memories. Like we were talking about earlier. Like I heard that song back in the day when I was on my way to college, or something might have happened, in your life that maybe wasn't so good, but not to bring up bad stuff, but I remember that my dad loved that song, or my mom, or something, just something that people can relate to, and make them enjoy us, and make sure they want to come back. So.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I can't wait to watch shows in the future, and I wish you success. Nothing but the best, and hopefully 2026 will be a good year for you guys and
appreciate it, man.
Vintage Cowboys.
Yeah.
And guys, that's going to do it for right now. Until next time, I want to just give a quick shout out to all my sponsors. Without your support and generous help, this is not possible. So thank you for that. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube or followed on Spotify, do so. And those are full content, full episodes on there, and check them out. Till next time, have a good one. Bye, guys.